Have you ever tried to speed up a ball at your opponents to only find out that they easily counter it back at your feet? For the majority of my pickleball career, this was a habit that I couldn't quite seem to break. Until recently, within the past year, I finally figured it out. And when I first started speeding up correctly, I found that I was beating all the same people that could easily handle my speed ups before. And I wasn't just winning points here and there. I was making my opponents retreat to mid-court anytime they hit me a slightly high ball. And if you want to do the same, watch this video. There are two different types of speed ups. You can either attack a ball off the bounce, or my personal favorite, you can attack a ball out of the air. And I'm gonna start by teaching you how to hit a speed up off the bounce. Hey guys, really quick, I just launched my exclusive YouTube memberships. There are 3 different memberships to choose from. The first membership includes a weekly focus skill as well as exclusive training and drills. The second membership, you guys will have access to discounted merchandise as well as gameplay analysis where you guys can kind of see inside of my head and what I'm thinking as I'm playing pickleball. And in the last membership, you guys will have free personalized training. And then you will also receive 50% off any mental focus lesson with me so that you can stop stressing out and get out of your own head when you're playing in tournaments. And if you would like access, click here, and I will also leave a link in the description. Enjoy the video. The first key factor that you need to focus on with a speed up off of the bounce is how high that ball is bouncing. Okay, so if the ball is bouncing extremely low down here, it's not gonna make sense to speed that ball up because you're gonna have to hit it up. And if you hit it up and hard, as a speed up should be, that ball's going out. So trajectory of the ball, height of the ball is the first thing that you want to focus on. And what I suggest is anything that is above kneecap. And I know that that might seem low to some of you guys, but since on these speed ups we're hitting topspin, we're not hitting slice on our speed ups, we're hitting topspin, the ball can go up and be brought back down, so long as we're doing it above kneecap area and we're doing the right form. Okay, that brings us to the second key factor with a speed up off the bounce, which is your positioning on the court. So if you're in a defensive position, it's not gonna make any sense to speed up the ball. It's a great change up every once in a while, but you're not gonna be consistent at it. So the first thing to focus on is that you're either in a neutral, on balance position, or you're in a offensive position. Okay, so you're on balance, but also you can lean into the ball and really take a good crack at it. That's the optimal position that you want to be in. So if we combine the two factors, that ball bounces above our kneecap, right? And we're in an offensive position, that's absolutely prime. If the ball bounces at our kneecap and we're in a neutral position, probably not the best, but we still have a decent opportunity, maybe 50-50, of getting a good enough speed up at our opponents. So what I suggest is focusing more so on just when you're in an offensive position to speed up the ball. So that brings us to how we do these actual speed ups. And we're gonna start with the speed up off of the ground. So there's 2 kinds, as I mentioned before. Either we can just fully send it and do a full, motion to where they know a speed up's coming, which I personally like. And if you do it in the correct way, you'll win a ton of points just straight up off of the speed up, sometimes with a winner. And then there's also the windshield wiper speed up, which is just gonna be this little crack at the ball where you're speeding it up at them and they don't see it coming. They just think that you're going to dink the ball. Okay, so starting with the forehand side, what we're going to do is perform a unit turn. We're gonna show our opponents our non-dominant shoulder. Okay, so our non-dominant shoulder is gonna go forward. Notice how I'm still in an open stance. Strongly suggested that you be in an open stance, especially when you're up on the net. You always wanna be facing your opponents. Your reaction time is gonna be a lot better. So I'm in an open stance and all that I'm doing is pivoting my feet to the side. So notice how my feet slide, right? So they just pivot to the side. I'm performing a unit turn. My non-dominant shoulder is facing my opponents. And then I'm going to drop my paddle down. Tip of my paddle drops down to the ground. And then I'm going to swing low to high, out and up as I perform a windshield wiper motion. So regardless of if we're doing the windshield wiper speed up or we're just doing a normal speed up, you have to have a windshield wiper. They're all windshield wiper speed ups. So I'm ready to speed up the ball. Everything stays out in front of me. If I end up reaching behind myself, you can absolutely be sure that that ball is going to hit the back fence. So if you see your opponents do this and they're doing a speed up and they have this going on and you see them go behind their shoulder, drop to the flow, okay? Unless they trick you and maybe they just end up dinking the ball. But if they actually swing, there's no way they can possibly control that in unless they're hitting a straight up overhead. So I'm keeping it all out in front of myself. Unit turn, drop my paddle, windshield wipe, out and up, creating this motion to create topspin. Tip is down, tip is up. Okay, so that brings us to the backhand side for a normal speed up. And essentially what it is it's a non-dominant handed forehand speed up. It's the same exact thing, but I'm now doing it, I'm right-handed, so I'm now doing it just with my left hand. And so what you want to practice and a really good drill to do is just hitting the ball with your non-dominant hand. And if it's difficult for you to figure out the speed up on the forehand side, it's going to be really difficult for you to do it with your non-dominant hand. But through repetition, anybody can figure it out. So the form is I turn now my dominant shoulder towards my opponents. I'm going to dip my paddle down and I'm patting the dog with the face of my paddle, not with the frame. So when I drop, I'm not dropping frame and showing my opponents my paddle face. I'm dipping my paddle face down so it's facing towards the ground, okay? Tip of my paddle is facing down as well. And then I'm going outward and upward and windshield wiping through my shot. So I'm going to turn, right? I do that pivot with my feet, drop, windshield wiper towards my opponents. And notice here, so this is the grip that I'm using. This is Eastern, this would be for Eastern forehand. I have where my knuckle is coming directly down this bevel, the flat part of my paddle. So my index knuckle is right there. And then I actually put my finger up here for stability. There's actually a purpose to it. It's not just because it's comfortable. But if I take my finger off, you're gonna get a lot of this going on with your paddle. It won't be nearly as stable as if your finger is on. The reason that I know that and what I learned from is Annalie Waters does it, and she has the best backhand in pickleball. So we should all do it, right? But she has this on here for stability. You'll see people like Ben Johns, same thing. When he hits a two-handed backhand, he has that finger on there for stability. Next thing that we're gonna do is take our other hand and put it onto the paddle. And the grip looks just like this, okay? So I have an Eastern forehand here, index knuckle coming down the flat part of the paddle. This one is just on for the ride, but I'm holding a continental grip. And that's actually, so we have this bevel that comes directly down the frame. Continental is one bevel over. There's another bevel right here. You're gonna put your index knuckle and now you're there. So now we're all here together. We're a happy family, okay? And like I said, this dominant arm is just on for the ride, almost as if it's not there, right? I'm just doing everything with my left arm. This is helping with added stability. So notice how on this side, I am also not going behind my shoulder, okay? Everything is staying nice and out in front. So I go out to my ball and I'm keeping everything out in front of me. I'm not even swinging my paddle all the way up here. You don't need that added all the way up. You want to keep your motion nice and concise and out in front. Okay, that brings us to the next kind of speed up, which is the windshield wiper speed up. And with this speed up, what we want to focus on doing is keeping our motion extremely small. So we're trying to manipulate our opponents into thinking that we're just going to dink the ball. So essentially I'm going out to dink the ball and then I'm literally windshield wiping as quickly as I can. My motion stays all out in front of me and it stays extremely small. It's just a quick flick of the wrist. The first time that you try this, your ball's literally gonna go and fly and hit the fence, or it's gonna go right into the net. But through repetition, you'll be able to figure out getting it in over and over and over again consistently. So with this motion, we're pivoting again, making sure that we're still facing our opponents. I'm going to drop my paddle down, pet the dog, okay, and I'm doing this last second. So I am over here, I'm about to dink the ball, drop my paddle. See how I drop as I am about to dink the ball. Dink, drop, and then I'm just literally flicking outward, upward, and creating that windshield wiper instead of this entire motion. So if we do the entire motion, our opponents are going to be able to tell what we're doing. That's what makes this type of speed up so essential to have in your game. And then I am essentially speeding up. I'm going from my right hip to my left hip, dominant hip to my non-dominant hip. Okay, you guys probably guessed it, but it's the same thing on the backhand side. You're gonna take your non-dominant hand, same grips, finger is coming up for stability. Add your dominant hand on. You're gonna drop, and you're just keeping that motion out in front of you. It's super concise, and you're just essentially flicking. So you're acting like you're gonna dink. And then last second, I drop my paddle and flick outwards. It's that small of a motion. I'm here, and now I flicked outwards, and hopefully just hit a winner on my opponents. So next, we're gonna talk about what location we need to be hitting with these speed ups so that you're always winning the point and getting yourself into an offensive position. Okay, so there are 4 predominant positions, regardless of if we're just doing the normal speed up or if we're doing a windshield wiper speed up, that we want to be hitting consistently. And those 4 positions are left shoulder, left hip, right hip. And usually people will just tell you, oh, just hit to their dominant hip. But if you just hit to their dominant hip, it's extremely easy for them to be able to shift out of the way because they know that it's coming every time. So it's really good to change it up time and time again so that you're chicken winging them on some, and then when they expect it to come to that hip or that shoulder, now you're going to go to the opposite one. They'll slide, and now you've gone to the opposite one, and then they'll be in this type of chicken wing awkward position. So when we're hitting the normal speed up, what we're going to focus on doing with hitting this location is we're already projecting to them that we are hitting a speed up. So I'm telling them, okay, I'm speeding up the ball. I'm in an offensive position. The ball's higher than my knee. I'm stable. I'm on balance. So I'm projecting to them, I'm speeding up the ball. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm in a good offensive position. Even if you do get it back, you're not going to be able to hit it at my feet. So I'm projecting to them that I am hitting it. So with this, we really need to be able to hit the correct position. And they have to flat out guess once they realize that, hey, we can hit here, 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 no problem. All dependent on that we're in an offensive position. So since they know that, now they're stressed out and they have to guess. And like I talked about before, a lot of players you'll see, once you figure this out correctly, will literally come back to mid-court as soon as they see that you have a slightly higher ball. So what you want to focus on with this is changing up your location from right hip to right shoulder to left shoulder continuously, and not just solely hitting it in the same exact position. Okay, so what we're going to do is play a little game. I'm going to be doing a normal speed up at you guys. You guys are acting as my opponents, and you're going to guess whether that speed up's going to your left side or to your right side. Whether that's your left shoulder, right shoulder, doesn't matter, but just the left side or the right side of your body. If you guess correctly, let me know in the comments below. But I'm going to freeze the video right before I make contact. That way you guys can guess. You guys will have like 5-10 seconds to guess. And then, yeah, let me know if you're correct. Well, let's go. Okay, ended up going to the right hip, just so you guys know in case you can't see on the video. Ended up going to the right hip again. I'd be interested to know if you guys could tell. I know I'm feeding these balls to myself, making it as easy as possible, but I really want to know if you guys could tell whether or not I was going to those positions, because this normal speed up is all about faking where you're going and then going in a different position, or double faking, where you're faking that you're going in a position and then you actually go in the position. So this is what it looks like when I'm going to your left side, just so you guys can get a grasp of what it looks like. But essentially, I'm doing the same exact stroke. This is the right side. Same exact stroke every single time. You don't know where it's going is the whole goal of it. Okay, I will see you guys for part 2 of this video next week, where I'll be discussing how to hit a speed up out of the air. Hope to see you guys there.